Let's get started. So I'm Christy. I live in Southern California, recently married and going through the immigration process. So I am currently unemployed, but I do readings online.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I was an IT business analyst, project manager in high tech for almost 30 years and got tired of getting laid off. So now I'm focusing 100% on my business based on human design and now destiny cards as well. In Vancouver, Washington for now, but moving back to Utah.
We'll get more into that later.
Yes.
If you folks know me, you know my story. I left a toxic relationship in April 2023 in Canada. I went to a human design retreat in July 2023 in Costa Rica, and I felt a lot better, felt safer, canceled my flight home, stayed there for 6 months, found an apartment on the beach and a bartending job, and met my now husband after 6 months of being there. And he flew me off to Southern California. That might sound like a crazy story, but the craziest part to me is that it was all predicted in my first destiny card reading, including the exact day of my breakup, the exact day I would meet my husband. And so in my readings, I love to be able to share these accurate predictions and clarity with my clients. Sharon.
Yeah. So I actually want to talk about my current situation related to destiny cards and everything. You've already heard about my business relations, but what's happening currently for me is I was feeling unsettled in my current situation in Vancouver, looking for another job, thinking that maybe I should go back to being in a secure job and not just rely on my business. My expenses as a single person here were expensive. And I started thinking about maybe it's time to move back to Utah. I have so many business connections there and so many friends. That might be the place that I should be. But with my design, I have an emotional wave that I need to wait out. So I just kept thinking about it. I kept talking to people about it. And I decided to stop in on my way back from Las Vegas and spend a week in Utah and reconnect with everybody. And while I was there, I decided I'm going to make the move. It was the right time. I was on an even keel of my emotional wave. It wasn't a high or a low. So I made the decision. And then instead of trying to create from my manifestor channels how I was going to make this all happen and when I was going to make it happen and how it was all going to work out, I just sat back and let the universe bring it to me. And I also laid out my weekly reading of my destiny cards, and everything in it said that this last week up until yesterday had all of these nines in it, which means change and transformation and endings. And it had threes and fives, which are also changes. And I messaged Christy and I was like, what is happening here? Not everything's happening this week. It was happening this week. I had a friend call me and say, hey, we're doing a job in Portland, 3.5 miles from where I live. We're going to be dumping off a bunch of stuff there. We'll have an empty truck and trailer. Do you want us to take your stuff back? So yesterday, my stuff left and is being delivered to my new location in Utah right now as we speak. It's getting loaded into the house for me. So it just reminds me how important it is to live by our design and live to my true authority and strategy and follow that, not try to muscle it with my manifestor channels. And then having destiny cards like literally turns on the headlights so that I can see what's coming ahead and not have to stress about it. Okay, that's the direction we're headed. Just be with it and be happy. So that's me. That's my update.
Thanks, Sharon. I love hearing the updates of like literally happening right now. And as you all are probably aware, it's the Capricorn full moon today, the full buck moon. So happy full moon. And as you may know, we do these webinars biweekly on the new moon or on the full moon. And when it comes to a Capricorn full moon, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And very much like in Sharon's story, it was described to me as the pimple that needs to get popped. So in my case, my Saturn every year, because my birthday is in September on the 15th, that puts my Saturn period every single year starting at April 12th. That is exactly the day that I left my ex in 2023. It had just been so toxic for so long. The universe was saying, we're pulling you out. The pimple's popping. Enough is enough. And It's that 52-day period. If I'm ever off track, if anyone's off track, that Saturn period is really the most potent time that karma or the universe or source is going to yank you back onto your path. And so what I see with Sharon, actually, you're probably in your Saturn period right now because of when your birthday is. And so what a perfect time on the Capricorn full moon for her to feel this pull. It's like, nope, you're done here and you're moving somewhere else. This is where you're meant to be. So the beauty of Saturn, it has the rings around it, right? And the way it was described to me is it locks you in, whether that's a karmic relationship. Those tend to be relationships that they're difficult and one of you is here to teach the other something, but you are able to stay long term because of that karmic locking in factor. Okay, and if you don't know, or if you've never been here before, Destiny Cards is an ancient system. It's pre-Egyptian, pre-tarot, and it's based on a deck of playing cards. It blends astrology with numerology to offer accurate predictions and karmic connections. And it's very connected with our Gregorian calendar. So there's 7 days a week, 7 visible planets, 52 cards in a deck, 52 weeks in a year. If you divide 365 by 7, you get 7 periods of 52 days. And that's what makes up your annual spread and your life spread. Whereas human design is a newer system blending astrology, quantum physics, the Jewish Kabbalah, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, the Chinese I Ching to produce a map of how your unique energy and life force frequencies operate. So for human design, we need your birthday, exact birth time, and city of birth in order to pull up your chart. So if you have that, that's wonderful. Otherwise, for the Destiny cards, we just need your month and day of birth. And then if you wanted to find out if you have a question about what is coming up for you this year or in the future or understand the past, we would need the year that you're born so we can look at all of that. So my birthday, like I said, is September 15th and Sharon's is in December. So even though we have different birthdays, we happen to both be 9 of clubs. And like I said with Destiny cards, it blends astrology with numerology. So the 9, as Sharon mentioned, represents endings, fulfillment, it's completion. So it's like the barren harvest field after everything's been picked over. It's a necessary part. It's a death number, but there's always a binary. There's always the plus and the minus of it. And then clubs represents information and knowledge. Hearts represents emotions and love and relationship and family. Diamonds represents adulthood and values and finances. And spades represents the last phase of life. It's the grave digger. It's about work, life, health, lifestyles. And so with me and Sharon both being 9 of clubs, we are here to let go of and give away universal knowledge. And so thank each of you for being here and allowing us to fulfill our purpose.
Yeah, I love how with Christy and I both having 9 of clubs and what she just said it means, there's also the concept that when people are drawn to you, they're drawn into your aura, into your orbit. They are drawn into your orbit to work on the things that your card represents. So I see all these people around me that are up-leveling in information and working on transformation and just like expanding who they are and what they are for the world and really focusing on their purpose. And it just brings me so much joy to be a part of that collective that's all doing that.
Yep. And 9 is a very spiritual number. It's very hard for us to have surface level conversations, which we love having with all of you here.
Yes.
That being said, does anyone have a question? Do you want to share your birthday?
My birthday is 10/29/53. And my question would probably be about just moving forward in my passion. I can be a great cheerleader for anyone else, but when it comes to myself, I lose my voice completely. So I would maybe looking for insights that could help with that.
Oh, well, you have the channel of caring. That's your only channel. And you're a 5/1. So you really are here for strangers. It could be hard to look in at yourself with that projection field. And
yeah. And the other thing that, Christy, while you're looking up the Destiny card side, the other thing about Alice is she has all of this instinctual energy down here from her defined spleen. So you're going to have this gut knowing of what's correct or what is there to steer away from. You also have gate 4, which is the gate of the answers. And so around you, people will be able to connect to the answers for themselves just by being in your energy. So you don't always have to say something to them. And you also have gate 45, which is the tribal elder. So you have so much knowing in your design that people might feel a little bit intimidated by you, which I know is hard to believe, but they would probably feel a little intimidated by you because there might be this sensation in your aura that there's no way to be like you. So it would be difficult for them to, because things will come very naturally and easy for you with all of those gifts that you have that you might not, and especially as the 5-1 profile as the guide, like you instinctually, unconsciously investigated all this information and you're ready to just guide the world. So all there would be to do from a human design standpoint is ask a bunch of questions, let people be in response and ask them what they want to work on. Let them say to you, oh yeah, I do want to do that. Or give them choices. Do you want to work on this or this? And let them have that choice to say, oh, I want to do that. And then you'll probably get a lot more ease in how you move forward with things. And now Christy can tell you what's ahead in your cards.
Yeah. So as a Scorpio, you have 3 cards. You are a 6 of hearts. 6 is a karmic number. And like I said, hearts is relationship. So you're very relationship oriented. Some qualities about you and this aspect of your personality, it's a card of peace, harmony, stability, and love and family. You are aware of the law of love and you strive to maintain stability in relationships. This can make for a satisfying life or one of monotony and boredom. It all depends how you handle it. There are somewhat fixed aspects about you and you dislike changes and upsets. That's a 6 thing. You just like it to be, just stay where I put you. Sometimes this could keep you in a relationship longer than necessary as you sort out your intentions and motives. You're very successful. You can apply great mental power to most any area with success, in spite of occasional fears of not having enough. Success lies in knowledge and communication fields, and you usually do better by developing one thing and sticking to it. You have the power to learn practically anything. You're very creative. You could find success as a designer, artist, creative financial planner. You're very entrepreneurial and never at a loss for good ideas. And your other card, by the way, is a Jack of Spades, which is being initiated into a higher lifestyle, probably spiritually based. And then a 10 of Diamonds. That can be good with the public and sharing your values with groups of people of which you are in front of. And how old are you right now, love? I know you said the year of birth.
72.
72. And so 6 of Hearts at 72. Oh, so your theme this year is me and Sharon's card, 9 of Clubs. So this can be on the one hand, and the annual theme is never good nor bad, but some of the themes of this is it's definitely a graduation year. There can be fulfillment, there can be some disappointing endings, but it all depends how you look at it. Like something's ending and it's up to you whether that's disappointing or whether you can accept that and move on. I'll read a little bit more about that. Yeah, it can be a year of mental disappointment and frustration, which is sometimes what happens when things in our life come to an end, but you have the power to make this a graduation year of great fulfillment. You'll be experiencing one or more important endings in your life. This could be the loss or completion of a certain line of work or some people coming up against your plans to the extent that you have to abandon them. The universe is telling you it's time to let go of some cherished idea or plan and move on. If you can see this and flow with the changes, you'll discover that you are much better off for the ending. The 9 of Clubs, like we said, is a card of universal knowledge. This means your mind is able to perceive things beyond the boundaries of what we call reality. Many people experience some unique, powerful awakenings of the soul under this card, and positively applied, it can reward you with universal knowledge and success in sharing it with others. Everything good about this energy comes from surrender to universal will and letting go of limited thinking.
Yeah. And then I was looking at the 10 of Hearts. She has the 10 of Hearts as her long range card for her Jack of Spades. And that also is about success, recognition, and popularity that is all coming for you this year. especially favored our activities dealing with public or large groups. So Alice is one of the people that I am moving back to collaborate with in Utah. So we're going to be doing big things together. The cards show it.
Amazing.
Awesome. That sounds very exciting. Thank you both so much. That's amazing.
Your third one, too, is a 3 of spades. So you could feel divided this year. On one hand, there's these endings, and on the other hand, you have the recognition and success. And it may be difficult for you to make a decision until you turn 73 because you just have this uncertainty. You're at a fork in the road, but that will lift. So don't worry if you don't feel clear until your birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Christy, can I share now my
Yes, please.
recap of our reading you did for me?
Yes, I did a reading for Jennifer, and this morning we were texting, and she's like, I've been listening to the replay, and all this stuff has unfolded. And I'm like, please tell us on the call.
It's pretty amazing. So I think it was November that we did this. So my birthday is August 13th. It's coming up in a month. And the other day I was actually listening to one of your podcasts, Christy, and I was like, I should go back. I have not listened to this since we did it, even though I kept telling myself I was going to revisit it. I haven't listened to it. So I won't go, like literally I could go through every single phase and tell you, but I won't for the sake of time and not hogging your show. I will give you the highlights. But so I'm a king of clubs, and my theme for this year was money relationships, which is interesting because it's one of the things that I have been struggling with, not necessarily like not having, but anyways, I have a weird relationship with money. So that is something that I had been working on. And it was interesting that came up as my theme. 2 of diamonds was a partnership and business deals, and 5 of diamonds was my challenge, which was also a money challenge and this major internal shift. And Chrissy said it's probably going to feel forced upon, but if you take a closer look, you're going to reveal something that is a change that you've actually wanted for a really long time, but it's going to be a big change. And then my gift was a 9 of clubs, like a graduation ceremony. You said I need to let go of these outdated plans that I was hanging on to. The ending is a major chapter in my life, but your littler words were, it's time to move on to greener pastures. And you gave a very specific date, and you said you'd never done that. But you were like, I am so sure of this date. So May 1st was this date. So a little backstory. 6 years ago, my husband and I sold our place in Northern California, and we moved to Southern Mexico. We built a house down here on the beach. It was our dream to always do this. Since we got married 31 years ago, we were always going to retire and move to Mexico. And then a couple of years ago, we bought another house here as an investment. It was going to be a rental, and that was going to be like our retirement income. You said I was going to there was some travel or something, but it was going to be unexpected. So sure enough, something came up. I took this unexpected trip back to Florida to see my dad and my stepmom and my brother. I hadn't seen them in 6 years. And my parents are 85, my brother's 66, my stepmom's fighting cancer, and my brother's fighting cancer. So I knew I needed to go. And it was a super last minute trip. While I was there, so this was in April. And while I was there, I was like, oh, my life is about to change. I need to move back and take care of my parents. Like, my brother is not going to be able to do it. And that was the plan. He's probably not going to live beyond this year. If we're lucky, maybe this summer. So it was like, oh, we had this whole dream planned out and everything was lined up. And then literally within 2 weeks. So when I came back April 18th and told my head, like, we had been talking about, okay, our course of life is changing and this is what we're going to do now. And we're going to go spend, because they go back and forth between New Hampshire and Florida. So when they're in Florida, my brother's not going to be there to take care of them. So we're going to spend our winters with them in Florida. We need to figure out where else we're going to live when they go back to New Hampshire. They have plenty of support up there. And we literally said, we just want to move to a green state, someplace that is green, because it's not green here. It's just, we just miss the mountains, the rivers. Living on the ocean's lovely, and we're quite grateful for it. But we've decided we're green pasture. We want to farm.
Wow.
We want to do that. So May 1st, we called our realtor and said, go ahead and list our house. We're out of here.
Wow.
So it's not going to be a rental. We're just going to sell it. Yeah. And had we sold that house back in January when we thought we were going to, or rented it back in January when we thought we were going to, none of this other stuff would have happened. So even though we kept going, we got to get this house rented, we got to get it rented. And then we were like, no, we're going to sell it. Yeah. So it was just really awesome to go back and just see how specific, all the things, nothing I had ever planned. Yeah. It was just pretty crazy.
Wow. And yeah, that May 1st is your Uranus date. That's interesting. Uranus is unexpected changes, and it also governs real estate. Oh, that's wild. Oh, I love hearing these stories because we did the reading last August. We didn't know anything.
No, we didn't do the reading. It was late. It was not until I think it was November when we actually did the reading.
Oh, that's right. We did your human design first. Gotcha.
Yeah, we did human design right around my birthday. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's wild. Even down to the wording. Even in my own life, there's things I didn't realize until it is afterwards that you see these things. I didn't realize until afterwards. My reader had said, "Oh, there's healthy love coming into your life starting December 28th." That's literally the day that my husband flew in the night before. We hadn't met yet. We had matched, and then because he flew in so late, we weren't able to meet up. And then the next day he came to the bar where I was working on the beach, and that's the day we met. And looking back, I'm like, oh my God.
What's so wild.
Crazy.
So wild.
And that's why I record every single reading. Is it provides context in the moment and gives you a sense of peace and hope. But it's really not until you look back afterward that you're like, oh my gosh, this stuff is powerful. It's these patterns. And even if we think it's going to show up in one way, it shows up in another way, but even more accurate in most cases. But yeah, thanks for sharing, Jennifer. Did you have any questions about what's upcoming or?
I hadn't really thought about it. I'm anxious to schedule another reading with you right around my birthday next month.
I love it.
Yeah, we can plan out the next year.
Good stuff.
Ian, we talked about something on the last call, and we gave you a couple things to focus on. Have you played with that at all? Has it been working for you?
Yeah, I played with it a bit. And actually, I had my yearly meeting with my astrologist that I've been working with for the last 5 years yesterday. So have both your recordings and wanting to pair them together.
Wow.
I feel like a lot of the things she said tie into the cards that you guys did at the new moon. So I'm interested in piecing those transit together. We worked a lot on my progressions and progress sun and where it is. I had concerns with Uranus going into my 10th house, how that's going to change my life. But she's like, don't worry. And you guys said, yeah, what card it was, but you're like, that's the stable one. So I'm like, all right, they're both, everything seems to be on the same page. If there's, I was going to let other people go today, but if there's a specific question, is there anything I should be specifically releasing around this Capricorn moon, especially as a Capricorn sun?
So I was going to mention this actually. Saturn is scary, right? Like I said, it's the pimple that needs to get popped. That's when you're yanked back onto your path. And sometimes depending how skewed, I was, again, on this super toxic relationship, trying to make it work. And it was devastating at the time, but it led into the most fertile possibility ever that I could have even imagined. So it can be scary is the point. But when you are Capricorn, you're ruled by Saturn. So you're probably very hard on yourself. This is a Saturn thing. It's the teacher, it's the father, daddy's home, and now the house gets put back into order. So people make it sound scary, but when you are a Capricorn, it's like, oh, this just feels like my regular life, my regular relationship with myself. And as a Capricorn, you're very like black and white focused. I believe it's the mountain goat, right? So you're like inch by inch going up the tiny side of the mountain. And so this is just your life. And other people are like, oh no. And you're like, oh, should I be worried? But you got this.
Yeah. So funny. I love how all the different modalities, I don't like to say human design is what you have to do or destiny cards is what you have to do, which is why Christy and I have created this collaboration, because I feel like everything that's out there is just a different form of the same information. And I love seeing the connections come together. It's like different languages and somehow they all cross over. So what she was saying about like letting go, you have the defined ego will center. So you could be very focused on getting something right. So just sit back, let that go. You don't have to get it right. Be in the flow of what your gut says, because you have these great instincts. The other thing is, Christy talked about how you would be very black and white. You have the undefined emotional solar plexus, which literally in human design terms makes you very black and white. So it's so crossover in everything that's out there. So you are able, as a sacral being and with sacral authority, when you know that something is right for you with your gate 10 directly connected to the sacral, don't get stuck in getting it right here, because you're going to instinctually feel, this is the right thing, and just go with it. And then everything's going to work out smoothly for you.
And also that undefined emotional center we talked about last time at the Cancer new moon, the keynote of that one is fear of confrontation and truth. So when you say, is there anything I should watch out for or let go of? It can be like, how confronting is this going to be? But again, as a Capricorn, built for it. So just allow it. It's like, we are here as undefined emotional people. We're here to become wise about correct confrontation. And you'll get that from your gut in the moment. It'll be like, this is the time to handle this. This is not the time to handle this. And when the emotions feel big because you're amplifying whoever else is around or the transit, that's just something to be aware of and watch, which is all part of, I'm sure, the astrology journey as well. And remind me of your birthday again, Ian.
December 21st, 1985.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And while she's pulling that up, just another note here, you have gate 18, which is in the channel of judgment. So you could be very quick to judge yourself if you're not getting it right. So let go of that. Just lean into your gut knows.
Also, Ian, so this year, your environment or your umbrella of blessings this year is letting go. It's a 9 of clubs. It's me and Sharon again. We're all over y'all's charts. But anything that you do have to let go of or you're being asked to release, it's bringing blessings to you. This is literally the year that you can just lean into that, purge the house. Like anything you're letting go of, any information you're sharing, spiritual knowledge, perfect. That's exactly what you're doing. All of that is going to bring you blessings. In Jupiter, you have a 9 of diamonds, which is, it can be letting go of money. It can be releasing values that no longer serve you. It can be being of service with money or values. Literally in your Jupiter, that's like how you expand your spirituality and your physical, mundane life as well.
And you also have gate 59, which is going to want to break down the walls of people that are like putting up confrontation in front of you. And you have gate 40, which is very tribal. It's one of the most tribal gates in the body graph. So there's so much a part of you, and you also have all of these gates out of your defined center, which is all the love and purpose and direction. So there's so much about your design, especially with the defined will center, that's going to want to get it right for not only you, but for everybody else around you, because you have all this tribalness. And again, like I just have to keep saying, you know what's right. You can feel what's right. Let go of anything else that doesn't feel right. Get out of your head, because there's nothing up here that can help you. That's a little human design joke. It's not going to help you. Even if it is defined, it's not going to help you. Go with that. And then, Christy, what did you see on?
So I can't remember if we read this last time. People ask me all the time. They're like, Do you remember what you told me in our reading 3 months ago? I'm like, no, I don't remember. But this is your challenge this year is another 9, a 9 of spades. So letting go is somewhat, it is your challenge, right? And so it's not comfortable. It's such an intense card. It's my second card. It is a death card. That doesn't mean physical deaths or anyone's dying. I'll read what it means. When this card is in your Pluto, your challenge, this year at 40, you have one of the most challenging cards, the 9 of spades, which can signal a year of losses of many kinds. In many ways, this will be a year of completions and endings. You could lose your job or contend with lingering health problems that force you to change your habits. You could lose someone, and this passing may not be easy for you to cope with. For some people, transitions and changes of a dramatic nature are very hard to deal with. An attitude that all of this is happening for a good reason will go a long way toward you getting through this year with sanity and peace of mind. What is being called for this year is for you to let go of certain important parts of your lifestyle that are no longer good for you or those around you. Whether you can see it or not, you've reached a place of completion in these areas and need to move on. If you resist, it will seem like these endings are being forced upon you. See this year as a year of completions as you prepare for a whole new chapter of life. The next year will be one of new beginnings, leading you in an entirely new direction that is much better for you on all levels. So that's the challenge. And then your birthday gift is a 7 of hearts. And so the result card, the 7 of hearts, it's all about like non-attachment and relationships. So it's kind of like, ooh, not pleasant. But in that position, it's very pleasant. It's your birthday gift before your next birthday. So in that position, based on how you deal with the letting go and the releasing aspects of your lifestyle that are no longer good for you, it says, though this year could seem to be full of problems from time to time, in actuality, you've taken on a very important challenge and work this year. This challenge is to love others unconditionally. This means you have to face your personal fears that have chained you to automatic reactions that are less than what you ultimately desire for yourself. This will not always be an easy process. You could feel betrayed or abandoned by others in the process. By contacting the higher forces within yourself, you will emerge victorious from this important battle. And that's exactly what you're doing with all of your spiritual endeavors. And actually, this one gives you an affirmation. It says, I create high spiritual and unattached love among those closest to me. I learn to release attachments and fears. So that's what your whole year is about. Enjoy.
Yeah. It's on point with everything that's happened. So
Yeah. It's all for a reason. That always gives me hope. It's like, oh, this is supposed to be happening. Okay.
Right. And it's so validating hearing Christy say, oh, my second card's in your year this year, and our first cards are in your year this year. And tying it back to what I was saying earlier, of course, you're all drawn to us right now because those are the things that you're working on. You're working on releasing, ending, being complete, and moving on to the next thing. Because I know anybody in our orbits is going to be very expansive, powerful people. So, of course, you're here for that knowledge and that expansion and turning on the headlights to see where you're headed.
Great. All right. Thank you.
And
You're
that's
welcome.
also on that note, that's something we haven't really done on these calls yet. We tend to look at the cards, or I tend to look at the cards as themes, but any of the cards can actually be someone in your life. So if you are curious and you wanted to ask a question about that, we can even check your love karma with someone. Like I said earlier, if you have a Saturn connection with someone, it locks you in, and one of you is the teacher and one of you has something to learn from that person in this life. So if there's someone you're curious about, we don't need their year of birth. We would just need their month and day, and we can look, who are they for you in your life this year? Are they someone that bring you money? Are they someone that make you feel burdened in Saturn? So that's also another way we can do Q&A too, if there's someone you're curious about the dynamic.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm looking at, since Ruby Ann's driving, I'm looking at her cards for this year. And the 9 of spades is her Pluto, which is her challenge for this year.
So
which
that's
is
exactly what I
Christy.
just read for Ian. Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing for you, Ruby Ann. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, I alluded to it in the beginning. There's the cards and everything in the books. And then there's also a way that we can do weekly readings for you, where we get a question from you of what your question is, what your intention is for that week. And we can lay out the actual playing cards, an actual deck of cards, and lay out cards for the week to show you what the theme is. And that's what I was saying I did last week, where I immediately called Christy and was like, what are all these nines in here? What are all these completions? I know I'm moving, but I'm not moving right now. Of course I was. So that's one of the really fun things that I've been doing. And it gives you that little flash of the high beams, like when you're driving down the road and you have the lights on and you can see what's ahead. No problem. You've seen your year ahead, but then you turn on those high beams for that little section of the road where it's a little bit darker and you need a little bit more guidance. So Chrissy and I are also going to be offering that as well, where we can do weekly readings for you. At some point, probably set up a subscription for that if you're wanting to do it on a regular basis.
And I'm looking at the chat here. So Rubian, you said you might have a question. We can take that. And then I see AMB, who I don't think is still with us. And then Karen, I charge for a Destiny card reading. It's 60 minutes and I record it and I charge $250. If Amber, I think that's Amber. I'm saying Amber, but it's AMB. She asked about health. And funny enough, Saturn rules health. So that's an interesting tie-in. Rubian, are you able to speak? I know you're driving, so I don't know if it's safe. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So my question is, so I'm finding myself feeling very, I don't know what other word other than unstable, because I'm going to cry. So what I'm realizing is because my bestie is moving, I realized she's been my security since my husband passed away. So now what? So I don't know what my question is. Really, other than, I don't know. I don't want to ask, am I going to be okay without her? Because I know I'm going to be okay without her. But
like, what's the lesson behind it maybe? Or what are you being asked to, this sort of a thing?
Yeah, or just, am I going to be okay?
Yeah. Of course you are.
Of course I am, but
yeah. Remind me of your birthday, Rubian?
May 19th.
Okay.
And I get that, like, my stability comes from myself and not from her, but like, also it's just unsettling to have her be gone. Sorry.
And I'm not gone. I'm still here.
I know, but it's going to be different. Like, I have personal access to you. I can come up and cry on your shoulder if I need to, but now I won't be able to.
And she's a reminder, she's 52.
Thank you.
So I think the biggest thing is the 9 of spades and the challenge that you're working on this year.
It's the same that we read for Ian. It's literally the year of letting go, and it's painful, but it's outlived its usefulness. Not that Sharon and her friendship have, but it's like you have that stable footing, even though it doesn't feel it. Actually, what comes to mind is, and this, not that this is you, but like when a baby learns to start walking, and it's like, no, you do have this. Like, now you're walking, you're not going to fall anymore, but it feels topsy-turvy. And as a result of dealing with that 9 of spades as your challenge for the year, you get, as your birthday gift, you will be working with negative patterns in yourself that may have been affecting your health or ability to work with others effectively. This is showing you where there are areas to be upgraded, and it's certain that you will see them and do something about it. Achieving this new level of health or spirituality may not be easy, but you will surely do it before your next birthday. And your affirmation is, I complete this year with more positive health or work habits and create more spirituality in my work.
And you have the Queen of Clubs as your environment card, which is all about bringing blessings into your life, especially along the lines of intuition. So you need to start listening to your defined spleen. You have the intuition, which we've already talked about, organizational ability, and work in any of the communication fields, which she's studying to be a therapist.
Oh, isn't that lovely? And
Right?
because I'm just looking at your other spread, in which you're full of 9s this year. Your other challenge is a 9 of hearts. So more letting go that comes up as a challenge, but that's also the therapist card. And you have the 9 of clubs as your birthday gift. So maybe, I don't know, Sharon comes back to visit for your birthday or something.
Right. She's also a 5-1. So in addition to Queen of Clubs as the environment card, is the card of success through service of sharing knowledge and information with others. So she's the King of Clubs is her main card. So she is the master of knowledge. So just start leaning into that, girl. You've got it.
I'm going to read this other Pluto, the other challenge too from your other spread. I feel for you because of what you're already dealing with. But so it says this year you will likely have one or more of your most important relationships coming to an end. We didn't know it at the time, but here it is. The time has come to let go of these and move on, and yet it may not be easy to do. Either you are wanting it to end and that's a problem for you, or you don't want it to end and it's ending anyway. So we know that's that. Personal attachments may be surfacing that make these endings very difficult. These endings could manifest as a divorce, personally or professionally, or as the actual leaving or death of someone close to you. Even the death of a pet would qualify as a 9 of Hearts experience, especially if you had close bonds with the pet. If these endings leave you disappointed in any way, it's likely that you are emotionally attached to someone. It's likely that you have an internal conflict about this. There are probably 2 parts inside yourself, one that wants an ending to one or more relationships and one that doesn't. If you can tune into yourself, you may be able to resolve this inner conflict and reach a place of acceptance. The universe is dictating that the endings must happen. If you change your perspective, you may discover that these endings are really the best thing for all concerned, and that includes you. And here's the affirmation.
I'm throwing the baby bird from the nest now.
You just pulled the nest out.
You've
Exactly.
been ready to fly for a year now.
And your affirmation says, I am letting go of relationships that were once good for me, but now have outlived their purpose in my life. I set myself free to move on to better relationships. And
Not better.
not better, but
Exactly.
different. And your result, it says, much of the challenge for you this current year at 52 is to let go of outworn ideas, projects, plans, or ways of communicating. This is a year of completions that may at times seem like disappointing endings. The 9 of Clubs says you are completing a major chapter in your life and it's time to move on to greener pastures. The same, they must be the same thing. Be open to spiritual wisdom in all forms, as this will help make the change easier. And your affirmation is, I complete projects this year and let go of the past. I broaden my understanding by releasing old ways of thinking. But again, this is Sharon's card. So, it could be a next level of relationship in your friendship.
Yes. So Karen had asked if she has the same card of ending, relationships ending as Ruby Ann.
December 10th. So you are 8 of Clubs and 10 of Diamonds. And
Yeah,
how old
and
are you, Karen?
She's 60.
Okay. So
8 of Clubs has the 8 of Spades as the challenge.
interesting. So you do in your displacement, you have the 7 of Hearts, which is letting go of attachment. So it's not the same as Ruby Ann, but let me read this. And also the purpose of all of this is that your challenge for the year is learning to love yourself at a new and higher level. So let's look at this. So your challenge for the year, Karen, is getting your affectional needs met will be a major issue for you this year, and that motivates you to make adjustments in your life to create new relationships. There's a strong desire for affection present, whether it's directed toward one person or towards finding a special person you can share your love with. It's an important year emotionally. You may have ended a time where your love life was unsatisfactory in one or more ways. You now realize you have to do something if you're going to create new or better relationships in your life. In all of your zest for love and friendships, be careful not to overdo it or expect too much from others. Remember that everyone does not have the exact same needs that you do and is not in the exact same situation. That's so funny, given your question. Their needs may be different and their level of desire for love may not be the same intensity as yours. Whatever the case, your own desire is guiding you to make the best decisions. And then, so that's the challenge. I want to also read, but you end your birthday gift, depending how you work with that, is a 2 of Spades. So it's like a partnership in terms of lifestyle or work or health. So it sounds like there's something new coming in terms of a bond. And This Seven of Hearts as a displacement, I think, could be what you're maybe referring to with your question. It says, it's a year at 60 in which you face some of your own emotional insecurity and you learn to allow others in your life to have more freedom. This can bring a feeling of freedom from our fears of abandonment and betrayal and a true experience of spiritual and unconditional love. But this only occurs after we recognize our fears and attachments and decide to make an effort toward letting go of our need to make those we love behave in a certain manner. You will be called upon to make this adjustment this year, and it requires some effort and determination in order to achieve a more loving way of being. This year is what we call a spiritual cycle. Things on the external or mundane level can seem to be difficult, and this holds true in our personal relationships. Not to say all your relationships will be difficult, but there will be one or more that cause you to look deeper inside yourself for the answers to the challenges they present. This is a year of letting go for you, and one in which you are likely to make a sacrifice of some personal desires for something higher in nature, perhaps something that will benefit others in your life. Follow your inspiration and be open to taking the higher path in your personal life. Though difficult at times, it will lead you to a place of more inner peace and truly loving relationships. Did you see anything else in that, Sharon? You're just messing everyone up this year, Sharon.
And that's what my card's for,
Yeah.
because they are ready to mess themselves up
Aw.
and recreate the new expansion, the
Yeah.
up level. Yeah, I noticed the environment card. She has the 10 of Hearts as her environment card. And again, this is in relation to what you were just saying, Christy, the ability to recognize or get recognition from the public and to be well received in any large gatherings of people will come to your aid this year and bring you greater success. With this in mind, it would be a good year to pursue any sort of artistic pursuit or to launch an advertising or promotional campaign for your business. So Karen and I are also working on creating an online web-based, self-paced Reiki training because we're both Reiki masters. So we are in the middle of doing a collaboration on that. So in what Christy read and what I'm seeing here, our collaboration on that is going to be wildly successful as well, Karen. So we're just recreating how our relationship looks and expanding it from just our little nest of friendship into making a difference for the world.
I love it. Awesome. Any other questions? I think we have time for one more.
I just wanted to say thanks to both of you real quick.
Oh, thanks, Karen. Thanks for being
Thanks,
here.
Karen. You noticed
Anything
that
from you?
AMB had jumped back in
Oh,
and then left again. So I don't know if nobody else has any questions, we could just.
yep. Let's do it. Asking about health. So 2 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, and ace of hearts.
Mm.
So in Saturn, you could find yourself taking a trip caused by someone's ill health at this time, maybe even your own. Take extra care while traveling. Separations from lovers or friends are more traumatic under this influence. Under Saturn, you could experience a difficult separation or divorce. If so, keep in mind Saturn brings challenges of a karmic nature. There are debts to be paid even from past lives. See if your own restlessness has not played a role in this. It said it's not a good time to take a vacation or travel, so try to schedule any trips before or after this time. Okay, there is a 7 of spades in Saturn. We'll read that. And even though that can be a scary card in terms of health, it's an amazing card for spiritual level, which honestly, that is when we learn the most in spirituality, right? When we're going through something difficult. So this is one of the stronger indications of health problems of one kind or another. Negative attitudes or lifestyle habits can bring on illness and other difficulties. The karmic nature of this period indicates that these problems are a result of deep-seated negativities or ways of living that are out of balance with a happy life. You will not be able to hold on to negative attitudes and thinking patterns without them affecting your health and work. You may be forced to do something about it. A positive attitude and healthy habits can go a long way toward healing yourself and others. On a deep level, you could be confronting some of your deepest fears, along with some of your deepest seated negative beliefs about yourself or life in general. Though this may be a difficult period, you will come through it a much more free and happy person. It is a natural cleansing process that will rid you of impurities of one kind or another. Be open to the messages you are getting now, and all will turn out for the better. And the other card is a 2 of clubs. So just to give in more detail about that, avoid arguments and quarreling. They'll have pronounced negative results. If you've been harboring negative attitudes about anything or anyone, you are now confronted with the results of such attitudes. Your own health could suffer now at the hands of your belief systems. This can also see a meeting with a doctor or lawyer for some reason. Power and success are gained through cooperation and a positive attitude. This is also known as the fear card. And under Saturn, it's likely you will experience more or less of this negative influence. It is usually a fear of being alone or the fear of death, and it may not have any basis in reality. The best remedy for this fear is patience and doing things that relax you and make you happy. Any attempts to change your external situation now, if motivated by this fear, will likely backfire. Before trying to change any part of the world outside of you, be with your inner feelings, and your chances for success will be much greater. So that is what I see for the health stuff. But that's what I love about these explanations in the cards. It's like, hey, you're dealing with something, but don't worry. You're being asked to change something. And it again, Saturn, it comes to a head. And now here we are. But this is not the end. There's a way out. And I look to the cards for that myself. But it's all stuff we know already. We know that in our gut. It's just, it helps to hear it sometimes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. It's 11:01. We're going to send out where you can find the recording on YouTube and Spotify. So thank you all. Thanks, Jennifer. It was so nice to see your face. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, Jasmine.
It's good to see you too.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone. What we have coming up is the new moon in Leo on July 24th. So we'll be back then. And it signifies a time for bold self-expression and taking initiative, particularly in creative and leadership endeavors. So this lunar phase encourages individuals to step into their power, pursue passions with enthusiasm, and initiate new projects that align with their desires. So if you've been waiting and holding off on doing that business expansion, now might be the time. So join us again on July 24th, and we can help you turn on the headlights to see what's coming.
We look forward to seeing all of you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.